I'll have to do a video on my dog one of these days because he's super crazy. Look at him. It might not seem crazy to you right now, but he's a little crazy little guy. You've seen that I have a stack of hard drives over here. And so what? You might ask. Well, the so what is I have no idea what's on them. They've been ripped out of various machines, probably over the course of 10 years, maybe. These might. There's a couple of IDE ones there. Some people might not even recognize this interface. Some of these youngins here, but this one's going way back. So I need to find out A, what's on them, and B, if they are from other systems, I need to securely wipe them. So I'm going to show you two methods on how to figure out, well, what's on them, which is pretty easy. I mean, you can plug it right in. You can plug it in and see, the files that are on them. But in my case, there might be some drives that have been taken out of and I'm pretty sure a couple of these that have been taken out of a RAID array, and which means that the data on here won't be readable because it's the array has been broken. So I might try to run some recovery tools on it to see if there's any files I can get off of it. So okay, so A, see what's on them. B, does it need wiping? Yes, no. If it's gonna need wiping, I'll show you how to do that with my favorite program. And C, if we can't read it, but the operating system is able to see it, we're going to see if we can perform a recovery and see what kind of files we get back. So let's dig right in. Now I'm going to do this through a virtual machine. You don't have to do this through a virtual machine. If you have a separate computer that you can stick a hard drive in via the SATA interface or the IDE interface, that's always going to be faster than the way I'm doing it. I'm just showing you how sometimes I do it if I don't have a machine available using Linux, a virtual machine, and a USB to SATA cable or IDE. So let me show you that now. So I'm using this thing. It's a SATA to serial. It's a USB to SATA or IDE interface. So it's this thing right here. Right, it's got IDE for 2.5 and 3.5, and then it has a SATA connector here. You plug the SATA cable in here. You plug this into the hard drive like this. Doot. This AC adapter thingy has a Molex connector as well as a SATA power connector. You plug that in. It spins up. And then you plug the other end of this thing has a USB. Plug that into your computer. And it just detects it as a storage device. So here I'm using a virtual machine. I'm using VirtualBox. Not my favorite virtual machine in the world, but I don't know. It's kind of what I have installed right now. I'm using Ubuntu 14. It's an older version of Ubuntu. It doesn't really matter. It's Linux. That's pretty much the most important thing. So I'm just going to show you here. Hopefully this is going to run okay. So I'm going to run Fdisk. I'm going to do -L. It's going to list the disks that I have. So right now I only have my virtual hard drive connected. It's 10 gigs in size. And at this point I am going to go to my VirtualBox and go to devices. And I'm going to, oh, you can't see this for some reason in the thing, but I'm going to USB and I'm going to redirect my USB drive to the virtual machine. I don't know what happened, so let's do an Fdisk again, -L. Okay, so then we can see here that it's picked up the new hard drive. It's 320 gigs. Now, this particular hard drive, I was able to read the data, and I know it's not important. It's not my data, so I need to wipe it, securely wipe it. So for this, I'm going to use now, before I get into that, most Linux distributions have the fdisk command. If they don't, if it doesn't, you might need to install it. Now, that's installing fdisk is easy. You can do an apt-get. Depending on what distribution you're using, you might need to like go install GNU fdisk, or oops, I can't spell. Or you might just be able to type in apt-get install fdisk. But most distributions will come with fdisk. Okay, blk block id. There's other commands you can use. There's block id and stuff like that. But just use fdisk, okay? It's easiest. It's going to show you the size, whatever. So I know that this hard drive needs to be wiped. Now, if you want to wipe a hard drive, I suggest using the application called Shred. Oops. Shred. I really can't type today. Shred's going to show you, Shred's going to show you some options available. Oh, I should have put more help. Type it out to less, actually. So it's going to show you the arguments. The usage is going to be up here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Up here, shred, option, file. And really all you need to do, unless you're going to get into some really crazy stuff, is just do a shred and then the device name. You can also go into iterations, how many writes, how many times you want to write over. The default is 3. That's usually enough for most stuff. If it's super, secure and there's really sensitive data, you might want to run like, I don't know, 10 passes over it or something. Default is 3. That's fine. So again, if we go back to our fdisk, we can see that the 320 gig drive is mounted as /dev/sdb. Okay, so we're going to do a shred /dev/sdb, and that's it. And now if I hit enter here, it's going to start shredding the disk, but it's not going to show me anything. So I want to add a -v for verbose. That was also in the options earlier if you caught it. And you just hit enter, and that's it. It's going to do 3 passes of random writes of basically all zeros across the drive, I believe it is. And depending on the size of your drive, it could take a really long time. It could take hours or days, depending on the size. This is 320 gigs. I don't really know how long it's going to take. I would assume it's going to take a couple of hours. Just remember that doing this over USB is going to take a lot longer than if you had the drive directly connected to a SATA interface or an IDE interface or whatever physical interface. It's going to take probably less than half the time, probably like 1/3 the time if you had it directly connected. USB is slow, and in this case, we're going through a virtual machine, so there's some caveats there. USB 3 is going to be faster, but if you can always directly connect your hard drive to the machine and boot using a live Linux CD directly on the hardware, it's going to go a lot faster. So that's how to destroy data on a hard drive. That's it. Check you later. See you in the next one.